Hello, everyone. Welcome to Liberal Tarot. I'm Sherry, and I'm a blue dot living in a red state, utilizing tarot to help us navigate these very interesting times that we have going on here in the United States. So I'm glad you're here and welcome. And I would like to take just a real quick moment to say shout out to all the new subscribers. I really appreciate it. I've seen your comments. Thank you. And what's really great is right now, as this channel is kind of a smaller channel, I have time and I can like talk to you guys and reply. And I just really like that. I like, I kind of like to think I'm kind of creating a community here, of like-minded people. So I really do appreciate you being here, and if you're sharing the videos with other people, I appreciate it. I really do. And if you are maybe you are haven't subscribed yet, now would be a great time to subscribe and also to like this video, because it just helps me to grow this channel and to grow this community that we've got starting out here. So thank you. I really do appreciate it. Okay, the focus of today's reading, and I feel like I do this, like it's going to be a little different, but this one really is a little different because I'm doing a follow-up on a reading that I haven't even posted yet. It was supposed to come out tomorrow, and it's about the Medicaid cuts. And what I got in that reading was, yes, the Medicaid cuts were going to pass in the House. They were going to have a hard time, but it was going to pass. I also got that it would pass in the Senate, but that it'd be more difficult in the Senate. Okay, so what I want to do is a follow-up on a reading that I haven't posted yet, but by the time I post this, that reading will have posted. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to probably post them on the same day. So you can see part 1, and then we'll call this part 2, the follow-up with what is the Senate going to do on these just horrendous cuts. So as always, this is for entertainment purposes only. And what I want to look at specifically is the Senate side of passing, they're calling it Trump's big, beautiful bill. Okay, gag. Okay, so Trump's beautiful, horrendous bill. That's what I call it. I just call it the horrendous bill. There's no beautiful thing about it. So anyway, entertainment purposes only, looking at the Senate side of what's going on with this horrendous bill. And just the base reading. Let's see what we get here. Heart of this here and now, the Sun card. This is a card of bringing things to light. So let's see kind of what else the challenge is. I think the challenge is going to be, how do they reconcile this with the House bill? I don't know that this is going to be as easy of a sell in the Senate, because I get the feeling like this is going to be debates held out in the open, not like at 1 o'clock in the morning, like what the House did. And so the options are, looking to the future. What is this bill going to do to the future of this country? And that is it's almost like I get this feeling like the Senate is almost more understanding as to what exactly this bill is going to do. Okay. The past experiences are Mad King Don. They had to pull in, the Mad King there on the House side to get it to pass on that side. What's interesting is that in the original reading, I got that you had two sides. You had the moderates that said the cuts were too deep, and then the MAGA who said the cuts weren't deep enough. And so you had to have Trump come in there, and it turned out to be it was the MAGA that said the cuts weren't horrendous enough. And Trump had to convince them that, in fact, it was all going to be fine. Fine for the oligarchs, maybe. Okay, so the past experiences, they, since, old Don had to go to talk to the House, probably going to have to do the same thing on the Senate. Okay, recent influences, finding that path. Okay, and I can't even, typically this is like finding that righteous path. But to me, this is telling me there is a very, very narrow path for this thing to pass in the Senate. Okay, I don't know that what the House passed is going to pass that exact bill is going to pass in the Senate. Okay, and the outcome, the potential is it's going to have a harder time passing. Okay, so Will they pass it? Will they pass it? And with passing it, return to happier times. They're not happy about it. It's almost like, Trump is like, make America great again. That's kind of what I'm feeling with this card. And the senators are like, this is not really how we go about that. And this is really going to hurt American people. It's really going to hurt, especially rural America. And, back here at the original reading, both of these cards are wait and see. The Hanged Man, taking our time, not rushing through, planting seeds for the future. Both of these are a wait and see cards. This, not happy with what's happening. So let's see. What will they eventually pass? I mean, they've got to eventually pass something. So, how is this eventually going to go in the Senate? Like, I'm kind of like looking at this going, yes, we all know this. We know that there's going to be healthy debate, in the Senate. Don wants this done. It's like, make America great, but the senators are going, nope. We want, like, there needs to be something better because of what this is going to do to rural America. And so with that, like, what are they eventually going to pass? Putting themselves in a position to overcome, putting it all out there on the table. They're going to pass something, the bully wand, and it's like comes down to messaging of, how are we going to tell the American people that this is what's best for them whenever everybody knows it isn't. They will lose support on this. Okay. They absolutely will lose support. And yeah, they know this. It's like I almost feel like the quiet part's not being said out loud, which is the support that they will lose. And it's almost like the senators realize this more than the representatives, than the House. Okay. So, when can we expect a vote? And with that vote, holding on within, decisions being made and reckless action being taken. Expect something, this 4 is telling me, by the end of the month, we're already, within 4 days, we're already coming up at the end of the month, and that reckless action will be taken. Let me pull this up right here. So kind of with what I'm seeing here, I'm not seeing anything that says it's going to stop. There's going to be debate. They may have to wheel old Don in there, to get, to whip up the votes. Will we be saved from the worst of it? Not by the Republicans. We won't, I don't think. Because, you get this reckless action as kind of one of those final cards. However, I don't think this is going to be, it's not like they're just going to do a vote and it passes. They're going to struggle to get it passed. So that's, some good news there. The other thing is that I don't think these cuts are going to be permanent. In fact, everything that comes up here is kind of like, we've got all of this, and then it's like, and then it kind of fizzles out, kind of like, yes, it passes. Yes, it's going to be horrendous. Yes, all of this. But as the people rise up and they start losing support, this is going to be, kind of one of those things to watch with the support that just their support is going to tank. I mean, they already, the Congress does not have great approval rating anyway. So yeah, with what I'm getting with this is, probably make the plans to, start having those conversations of how we're going to weather this. Okay. And sorry, I should have used the good news deck. I always say, whenever we don't get positive readings, I'm like, throw that deck away. Let's go get the good news deck. So, and what we do is when we don't get, why I do tarot is to look at the options. So we now know going into this that some version of this bill is going to pass. Some, they're going to lose support. that is blatant right there. And as this hits, especially rural America, expect those, they did not think the leopards were going to eat their face. And yet, here we are. So, yeah, what we can do, because, we're going to be proactive in this, and we are going to be empowered, and we are going to, make those plans the very best we can going forward, knowing these cuts are going to happen. We've got tariffs that are happening. I mean, this is not, this could be a very interesting summer. So be empowered, to go forward, doing what you can do to help weather this storm. We will get through this. This country will get through this. And we just have to make sure Democrats get in charge. The other thing that I kind of, am curious about, I'm not going to ask right here, is, me and other readers, we keep getting that, something happening in that June mark, and I'm like, I don't want to be one of these readers that's just like, oh yeah, around the corner, down the road, this could all end. But the thing is that it really could end. As soon as those moderate Republicans wake up, this all comes to an end, and that's kind of what we're waiting for. Okay, all roads lead to the Tower card, and the Tower card is, I always say it's that you could have learned the lesson along the way, but the Tower, if you get to the Tower card, you have not learned the lesson, and this is the cosmic 2x4. And this may be what it takes for the Republican Party to finally, wake up from the clutches of MAGA world there and reclaim their party. So, it sucks whenever the rest of us are dragged into other people learning their lessons. But here we are. And as I said, we're going to be empowered going through this and doing the best we can, because we knew ahead of time that and taking those practical approaches. So thank you for joining me, especially if this is your first time. I'm sorry I didn't have a happier reading, but it's going to be an empowering reading. That's what we're going to call this. It is an empowering reading. So thank you for joining me. I will, subscribe. Probably will link that original video up here so that you can watch, parts 1 and 2 on that, kind of see what I got with that. So thank you very much for joining me, and I will catch you on the next reading. Have a good day.